Hi, good morning. I am Eva Movement. Yesterday we had a class at the Sivananda Yoga Center, and I have decided I'm going to give you a little recap of the class, what we did. So if you like to practice at home, then you have something to refer to. So the very first thing what we did, it was using this little ball, which I told you to get it at the Dollar Tree store and spread it out in the house when you're brushing your teeth. You can put the pressure on, which I'm going to demonstrate in a minute. You can also just roll it under your foot while you are sitting at the desk, working on your computer, or chopping vegetables in the kitchen. So it's anytime. This is a wonderful tool. It's going to start to facilitate your nervous system. The bottom of the foot, those little nerve endings, going to communicate up to your central nervous system, and it's going to give you a much better confidence and strength, and you're going to start to feel just more alive, so to speak. So the first thing was I asked you to put this ball right under your forefoot when you're cross-arching between the big toe and the little toe, and just apply some pressure on it. Now you might feel a little bit of pain. I would call it discomfort, not pain, because you really want to spread those toe joints. They really need some breathing space. You want to get some blood flowing. And if you have some adhesions, lots of people always complaining about foot cramps and just pain and not being able to walk long enough, it's going to help for you to gain a little mobility. And with that, you're also gaining some strength. So you're applying pressure on and just stay there for a half a minute or a minute, or just try to increase it every day. You know, there is a 20 days rules. If you practice something for 21 days, they said, then our habits are changing. So we have to believe that, and I am telling you that works. Now the next thing what I ask you to put it right under your midfoot. It's gonna lift up your arch and the midfoot, and those are the muscles needs to be stretched out, the bones needs to be open up, and it's again, you might feel a little pain. Find the painful spots and just stay with it. It's really, really good for you. Don't avoid this discomfort. That's going to go away. It's just a matter of time and practice. Once your bones have more room, the muscles can work for you better. So it's actually building your foot arch. And you know what? The foot is, it's your very first shock absorber. So when you're stepping on it, it needs a little springy motion. And if your foot is already down, then it's not going to happen. You're going to hurt your knee, your hip, and then your upper body is going to be very, very upset with you. Now the next thing, I ask you to put it under your heel and just apply some pressure and stay with it. Probably this is the least painful, but it is really good for you because most of us standing more on the heels, we don't have enough weight on the forefoot, and as you know, you are heavier, you're bigger on the front, so we always need about 2/3 of the body weight on the forefoot. I would say big toe, little toe, and 1/3 on the heel. So it also helps you a little bit just be aware of where your normal weight bearing would be. So this is the little rubber ball. Tennis ball is a little bit too soft, so I would rather use that hard little rubber ball. It's very inexpensive. You can purchase it any place. Now the next thing what we did, it was with Kleenex. And what I ask you to do, to get a toilet paper or a Kleenex, and you can do this in sitting, you can do this in laying down. It is also a very good exercise for your heart because it helps the blood back from the legs, so those little capillary vessels, they're going to empty, and when you're standing up, the new fresh blood going into, and it's also helping to strengthen your bottom of the foot. So if you have orthotics, or if you have foot cramps normally, or you have any issues with your foot, this is a great exercise to do any place, anytime, and building your foot arch muscles. So you're building your shock absorbers. So I ask you to put this right under your toes. Now make sure you don't put it between the toes, because that wouldn't do it. But under the toes, and then you make sure the alignment is right, so your shin bone is kind of lines up with the second toe. You can bend the other leg or straighten it, whatever you like, and just move your heel and toe back and forth, and not to let the grip go. So you're gripping that Kleenex. The knee stays locked and straight, your leg is right above your hip joint, and you're moving it up and down. You might feel a little cramp at the bottom of the foot, but that just means you're waking up muscles which were sleeping and not working for you before. If you get tired, do 2 more and then switch to the other leg, and try to do it in each leg evenly, and heel to toe. And I recommend this to people to do it about the rhythm of your heartbeat. So if you're checking how fast your heart is beating, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, because the body learns the best when you are in harmony with your own body rhythm. And if you do it too fast, you may not giving enough chance for the weak muscles to work hard enough. And you really want to give a chance those teeny tiny muscles which are so hungry for some attention and get some good blood flow. Now, once when you know how to do this, you can do it with 2 legs. You can put your hands under the hips so you get a little bit more comfortable, and just do it with 2 legs at a time. You can do 1 up, 1 down. So you can alternate, you can be very, very creative with it, and don't be afraid to invent your own version. Nothing is right or wrong other than if you are not doing it. So this were for the foot. The next thing what we did, it was what I call the spinal roll. When we were going down on 4, and I'm going to show it to you, but basically the whole idea was to move your bones so the 2 ends of your spine is up here and down here, and this 2 ends we want to bring it close to one another. This is what we call the cat back, and then we want them to bring it together on the back. So if you imagine there is a nice slow rolling motion, moving your spine backwards and forwards without shrinking. You don't want to collapse in your body. I sometimes have people, I have this circle here, and if you imagine you are standing in this circle, you really want to pick up that circle, that ring shape. So as much as you can, just push yourself back, imagine that circular motion, and when you go backwards, then obviously the other end of the circle wants to be. So standing, it's a little bit harder, but it helps you visually just getting what I'm talking about. So what we did here, we went down on our knees. You can put something under your knees, keep them apart, and we did this with the music. And you're comfortable, place yourself 90 degrees everywhere, turning your hands in, starting back at your heels, Find your comfort zone and slowly bending the elbow off the floor, reaching, arriving above your hands, lift your head up and do a nice push-up here. It's good for your arm. Drop your head down, tuck your tail in, and then slowly go back. And this slow motion is going to lubricate your spine. It's going to get every part of your body mobilized. And you do a few of those every day. And exhale as you go back. Expand your chest as you go forwards. And then close your eyes and just feel what the movement is doing for you. Close your eyes. It's calming, it's relaxing. And at the end, just relax and stay there for a moment. Just feel your body as it softens. So this was a spinal roll, and just doing a few is just a wonderful feeling. It's basically softens up everything and doing all the stress release which we all need so much in our everyday lives. So the next exercise was, which I call the roll down. Remember we were talking about the deep muscles and the global muscles. So the deep muscles, which are holding our bone structure together, those are providing us with this nice upright position. And the outside muscles, what we see when we're looking at ourselves in the mirror, those are the doers, the performers. So I ask you to get the disc, what some of you purchased, but if you don't have it, you can just hold a book above the head. Make sure your neck doesn't disappear. So you really want to pull your shoulder blade down, let your rib cage come down, but keep your spine nice and tall. So I'm going to show this to you from the side, and again I'm going to turn on the music, and the motion is going to be to rolling pelvis. So you're starting inside, you're pulling your internal muscles, remember the pelvic floor muscles up, and with this you're also engaging your gluteal muscles, pulling them in and rolling back as far as you can, and then you roll it out, kind of almost like you're sticking your tail out. So you're tucking the tail in, tucking the tail out. So here is with the music again. Keep your feet far away from you in this diamond position. And as you're holding your arm, maintaining the length of the spine, pulling the shoulder down, you're pulling inside and roll it, squeezing your bottom and coming upright. And close your eyes and feel the muscles. And then you can rest for a moment again downwards. Feels good, isn't it? So the next thing, you need a partner. We were sitting in the diamond position, and I recommend you this to teach your partner. I don't have anybody here now, so I cannot demonstrate it, but you will remember because you were at the class. So you were bending forwards and you asking somebody right next to your spine, just tapping with the fingertips. So this is my spine. You really want to tapping on the next to the spine, on the muscles. It's gonna signaling where your rib cage is attached to your spine, to your vertebrae, where all these little nerves are coming out, and they going to signaling, and when you breathe later, it's gonna just expand and moving all your torso muscles. So every torso muscle in this end at the attachment where the ribs and the vertebrae are going to gain some flexibility, and that's very important because lots of time you have, or people have, a back pain and neck pain because the neck side and the lumbar side is working very hard because the midsection is frozen. That's where we carry all our emotions, and this is a little trick you can improve your from inside out, breathing into your back parts of the body. So with the exhale, you close down the front door, you set up the muscle tone, pulling up your pelvic floor, bringing the rib cage down, tight a knot here, and breathe between the shoulder blade, widening it, not lifting the shoulder, just open and widen. So you were bending forwards and asking somebody to tapping on you each side of your spine all the way down, and do that about 8 times up and down on each side, and then notice how much more room do you have, how much more you can expand, And that's very good exercise for people who have a lots of sitting job. You may feel some tension, discomfort in your lower back, people with neck pain, because also your mid-back is the center of your head, so that's where the head is basically sitting on. So this alignment is so important, and loosening up back here, it's going to give more freedom to your neck, so your neck muscles don't have to be so tight and working so hard. Teach your friends, teach your family members, and you can do this even sitting in a chair, just bending forwards. You don't need to sit on the floor. Whatever your comfort zone, it really doesn't matter. Just do it and experiment. You cannot do anything wrong, because every movement is going to teach you something. And that's why I'm asking people sometimes to just close your eyes, and instead of focusing on the movement, if it's right or wrong, just feel what your body is doing. Just move with it. Music is very helpful, and I'm going to put up on the website this person who did this music, because it's kind of helping the brain waves to be more balanced and centered. You will find it is very helpful, even if you're not moving just for relaxation purpose. So the next movement, what we did, it was with the disc. And the purpose of working with this disc is to, everything what we learn in pieces, this one is kind of brings it together. Now, I know some of you had a little difficulty, but don't worry about it, because this is new to your body and nobody learned this in one session. There is a lot of little details what you want to learn here. Don't worry, do your best, and if you have any question, you can always certainly call me or come to see me, and then I will teach you for the details. So remember, we did this little tucking and elongating the back of the spine. This is going to be very important when you do this. It looks like an arm movement, but actually this is an entire body movement, because in order to keep the disc all the time in a horizontal platform, horizontal level, it's going to force the other end to move harder. So when I'm bringing my arm backward, always start on the side. And if you go front of the mirror, it's even better, so you can kind of look at yourself if you are too much arching or slouching. So you really want to make sure your shoulder blade is down, your rib cage is down, not sticking out. And the body weight is on big toe, little toe, heel. You're holding your disc on the shoulder level. So the first movement was what we did. We were going backwards on a circular motion. The shoulder joint is a round joint, and you want to use that, and using your arm as the extension of your back muscles. So you bend yourself backwards, and then turning the head. I'm turning myself this way so you see me more. So turning the fingers from to the right to the left. Probably on the screen you have the opposite. I'm making a nice side bending. And first just do this part. So you're going in this circular motion to the back, to the side. And if you look at the disc, then it helps your neck muscles. And also the eye reflexes, if you look at the motion, you're going to go much farther. So you look at your disc, follow it with the eye, put the other hand on your hip, and go with it, flow, flow, over, from the back bending to the side bending. And going back and forth, just do this simple movement back and forth. Now once when you learn this, then you can go further. So you're going backwards, looking at your disc. I'm looking at you now just because I want to make sure you see me well. So, and then you go sideways, and now from here, you're bringing it down horizontal shoulder level, and this is a time when you drop your knee in. And this is a time when you start to tucking your tail, and your arm comes to the side, and you look down and you look at your disc. So the front pulls backwards, the arm is out to the side, you feel your shoulder joints rolling forwards, looking at your disc. And this is where the little difficulty comes for some people. You have to really keep this disc horizontal, bring it close to your armpit, right front of your chest, reaching out to the cross and bring it back, straightening the knee to the side. So you have this nice continue motion, straight leg, backwards bending to the side bending, forwards, pulling everything back, look at your disc, drop the shoulder, keeping the elbow high, shoulder level, and reaching out, and continue to the side, front, and reach. And if you do this in a certain tempo, you're going to feel how your entire spine is going to smoothly, basically you're doing a spinal mobilization for yourself. Now, what would be not good here? So when you're going forwards, you don't want to do this. You really want to keep your shoulder above your hip. So imagine there is a wall and I want to push my front back to that wall. Don't do the sticking out. You're not going to do anything wrong, it's just not as anatomically perfect perhaps. It's maybe not mobilizing the entire joints, because here you're really bending your hip joint and you really want to bend your spine instead. Now I'm going to demonstrate this for you with the music again, and it's also a wonderful thing to practice with both arms. Always start on the side. First you open your eye, look at the disc, bending backwards, going over, down to the chest level, straight out to the side, bring it close, and nice and elegant motion, offering and rolling, and close your eyes. difficult. It just takes practice. Now also we did with 2 hands, and this requires a little practice again, but remember, any coordination, any body movement which is not just one body part, so not just lifting your arm up and down or lifting the leg up and down. When you put it together and you kind of integrating it, then it's a little bit more challenging, but anybody can learn this. This is not that difficult as it looks like. Once when you get the rhythm, get the motion, it's just gonna, the motion is gonna do you. You don't have to really think about it. It becomes like almost like a second nature. So people who had difficulty with, I would recommend it to do first, just with some very simple, bring it up above the head. Remember we were talking about when your arm is up and holding something flat in your palm, it's building your deep inside muscles. So just doing this very simple motion, you're actually signaling the deep muscles. So you just go back and forth with this, rotating up, turning the fingers in, turning the hands out, and bring it to the front. And bring it up, rotating in, and bring it out and to the front. This is plenty good for your shoulder joint, especially when you have neck issues. It's really working your neck muscles. You just target it from the other end. Instead of moving your head around, you're moving your shoulder, which is basically all the neck muscles, one way or other, is coming to your chest or to the back. So you're practicing this back and forth. And then you bring the arms to the side and you just do it with one hand, turning the finger, and you're reaching over with. And just bring this one arm back and forth. Practice it about 4 times. You may getting a little tired here, but that just means you are moving your muscles, which were not being used perhaps for a while. So you do about 4 times each arms, and then go with the other side and start to get involved your spine. You're feeling as your hand is the extension of the entire body, from the heel to the knee, to the hip, to the waist, to the shoulders, up to the fingertips. And now once when you arrived here, you can bring both arms holding their position and just take it over there and bring it back, the same motion back and forth. So you're taking it away from you and back. Now when you're going across, bend the knee and pull that tail under you and bring it up there. So you do this a few times, and this is where you can start to practice the rotation. So the one arm comes in, the other arm goes out. And just practice this front of you. One goes out, one goes in. One goes out, one goes in. See, one shoulder rotating inwards, the other stays outwards. And feel as your shoulder joint is moving soundly and softly. Drop the knee and out. So you have to really rotate one arm, because if you don't rotate it, then you're not going to be able to do the next step. Now one is rotating in, the other is holding upright. And now at shoulder level, you start to taking them up above the head. Palm is upright, going down, so now my other shoulder gets rotating in. And bring it front of you And take it slowly over your head palm and go over, tucking the tail under and rotate both discs and reaching out and continue the motion. And when you're finishing it, one arm arrived and the other arrives as well, and you want to start here and finishing it here. So regardless you're doing with one arm or two arms, or you just do a parts of it, once when you get familiar with it, the rest is gonna be much easier. So I recommend you to partially practice and then grow with it. And don't worry if you're not able to do with two. It's okay, it's still gonna work for you. Start with one hand. Start with the non-dominant hand. So you're kind of balancing right, left. You're getting more coordinated. Now I'm going to do this for you with one arm at a time and then two arms with the music, okay? So I personally like to start both arms out. Even I do it with one arm, I want the other arm be present. And I always start with open eyes, and then I slowly close my eyes and I just feel what it does to me. finishing the class with this movement, and I encouraged you to get the music, which I'm going to put up on the website for you. And if you need to contact me, there is my contact number also, will be up on the email. Please call me, and don't feel discouraged if you're unable to do it. You don't want to be perfect, you want to be connected. Your body doesn't want to be perfect. Your body wants to be connected. And excellence is good enough if you do your best based on the information what you got from this class. That's the best you can do for yourself. And good luck, and looking forward to hear from you, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you.